Back at the Supreme Court for the second day of arguments. I was here yesterday with Jordan Sekulow of the American Center for Law and Justice, our legal eagle genius. I sit in a courtroom, half of it goes over my head. So without Jordan, I'm lost. And Jordan, we were here for a second day of arguments today, and we both watched the drama in the courtroom and listened to those questions. Can you size it up for us? What did we hear?
This was the big day. This was the individual mandate. An individual mandate is all about whether or not you can be forced to buy insurance or not by the government. Can the government force you to enter the stream of commerce? Not just regulate things. They regulate businesses all the time. But can they force you in? Is that part of their regulatory power? And that's what started, remember, the Tea Party movement. That is what started the Republican takeover of the House in 2010 and some of the backlash against the federal government. Remember, since the health care law passed, there's not been much real legislation that's moved through Congress because everything's kind of been put on hold because this was seen as a power grab. The court today, what we saw, which was different from yesterday, is I think took a little bit more of a conservative versus liberal approach. You saw the four committed liberals basically arguing for the law. I mean, Justice Kagan, who was Solicitor General.
She was practically advocating.
Yes, she was and that was her old job, is the person who was arguing the case for the administration. And her boss, her old boss, Eric Holder, was there. Valerie Jarrett was there as the domestic policy advisor for the White House.
The team was in place.
The whole team, right.
Only one of them was on the bench.
But the key was Justice Kennedy. Justice Kennedy was not bought into what the rest of the team was there. Justice Kennedy really did question whether or not there would be any limits anymore to the federal government's power if the individual mandates stood. And so I think with that, that's why you had a Washington Post headline right after the case, and it's not a conservative news outlet, that said, not a very good day for those who supported the health care law, which is a good day for us.
He's the legal genius. He's the lawyer. I'm the pastor. And looking at the body language, I thought Kennedy did send off signals that he was very disconcerted by that idea, which would seem to be enough to say, no, we're drawing the line here. This is not just letting the camel's nose into the tent, but a whole lot more than that. And of course, for us, the mandate issue is one of conscience, is a breach of conscience for so many Americans, both individually and collectively.
And he made that clear. He had the skepticism, but he also said, and this came from Justice Kennedy, who's seen as that swing moderate in the middle vote, he said very clearly, we've never okayed this before, this would be a new government power, and if his mind is there, that's much better than I think a lot of people expected him to be. They were not buying that tax argument. He was already questioning this before the oral argument. I don't think any of his questions were answered today by the opposing side, which is good news.
I'm the layman, but it sure looked to me like he's the fulcrum.
Yeah, it does. It looks that.
It's going to go to Kennedy.
Unless there's some shocker.